Hey guys, this is DocHoliday again, and this is my week in LOTRO. This is the third week, so this is for the week ending in January 21st of 2011. A lot of this week, I was on my champion, mainly just because I haven't had a whole lot of time to dedicate concentrated effort, so it's more me on my champion, working on her, leveling her up. So, see, first off, I'm hanging out in Anonymous, which is one of my favorite zones. Because a lot of the scenery, also like a lot of the content in there. It's a lot of fun, a lot of actually challenging content of things to do. So one of the main things I wanted to work on was just how I perform with lots of mobs around. So there's a lot of places where you can get 3 mobs per pole. Thought this was kind of fun because I killed them all at the same attack, so that was always an enjoyable moment. But the other thing I wanted to do is a couple of my videos people have commented on my rotation and what I'm doing. It's really I'm trying to help figure that out of how I'm going through and how I'm using my skills to try and figure this out. So that's the other rationale for me posting these. So a lot of what I was doing was going through Book 10 Epic Line. It's a fun storyline. I really enjoy it. And part of going through the Epic Line, you have certain quests that take you to different areas. So I also went through and picked up some of the different daily quests, working on reputation with the Wardens of Anonymous. So trying to build that up as I went through. So I really enjoyed it. Also, as I noticed going through, I found a lot of different areas have changed. I'll talk about that a little bit more here, but this other example here is part of the Epic 10 book line. Just I thought it was kind of fun, because getting to mow things down pretty quickly. But also, one of the most annoying things for a melee class is having people run away from you. So being able to use the horn, you can not only stun them, but stop them from running away, which I find to be quite amusing. So that was why I kept that one in there. This is part of Book 10, and this is by far one of the more annoying fights of Book 10. A, because you have to get up there, and B, because he's pretty annoying, and C, because I found out that depending on how I click my clobber button, I can inadvertently pop up the store, which is not a good thing. So I quickly after this moved my clobber button to a different place such that it's not confused for trying to bring up the store. So anyway, using clobber, trying to do interrupts. I'm trying to get more used to using clobber and getting more ready to do that. So it's certainly something I've been working on my champion. You also notice I'm using the return effect for champion. Not necessarily because I think it's great. I'm working on the deed, so that's why you'll see me pop up Exchange of Blows, which is the big swirly blade thing. That's the main reason why I'm trying to use that, is just to get my deed up so I can complete that and knock that off my checklist. The other thing I noticed in here is that was actually giving me reputation, which is kind of nice. I hadn't expected that, so I wanted to go ahead and do that. Of course, a big part of my time is chilling here with Elron as I'm crafting up my scholar. And went through it. Been doing a lot of work actually, not only crafting on the scholar, but trying to figure out what else I would want to craft going further down the line as to what would make sense for me. Not only for making money, so this is me crafting some Hunter Fire oils to go ahead and put them on the auction house to go and make some money, which I do a lot of, and I'm trying to build up and level my craft. But also what are things I could be using during the end games. You'll see I've got a lot of potions that I can be using, a lot of reputation items for the Elves of Rivendell, and this is me hitting Supreme Master Scholar, so I was pretty excited about that. I thought this was just amusing to sit there and watch the scroll of me handing in all of these crafted items that I went through. Initially thought, oh, hey, wow, I hit Kindred, but no, I'm unlocking the deed to progress to Kindred. So I still have a lot of work to do on reputation, and after kind of watching through some of that, I decided that I would go ahead and start working towards the World Renown deed on my Warden, and I'm going to go through and do a combination of skirmishes, buying stuff off the auction house, and actually going through and grinding. So I created, I'm a bit of a spreadsheet junkie, so I have a spreadsheet that I went through and walked in and kind of added up where I was, which is incredibly depressing to see how much rep I need to get with all the different factions. What you get through skirmish points, what I could find off the AH, and I'll kind of keep that up as I go forward. This is the last chapter in Book 10. I really enjoy Book 10 from a story perspective, and then this is just for a champion. I just found this to be, I actually had a lot of fun with this on my Warden as well, but this is just a lot of fun because you can just go through and rip through and kind of mow through things with inspired greatness, and nothing really causes you too much trouble, but you can just kind of mow through and cruise on through these guys without too much difficulty. So just had a lot of fun kind of walking through. But again, still trying to pull multiple mobs, really trying to get a feel for what kinds of things I wanted to do. One of the folks on Twitter, is another good champion, made a comment that I'm not using cleave enough. So I tried to go ahead and add that in and trying to use that. So trying to just get a feel for how to go ahead and roll with the champion and get a feel for how it works in groups, and also really trying to get a feel for how I can not feel so squishy. It's a big problem that I realize and I understand, and I'm just trying to go through and figure out different ways of doing it. So you'll see me using a lot of potions, using my horn to try and stun things, to try and keep them off me, using the defensive buffs, using exchange of blows, trying to kind of get a handle on how to do that. You'll also notice this is a newer video, so I've got a new armor set. It's the first tier of the new Moria armor sets that are available once you hit level 51. So I went through and I hit 51 shortly thereafter and realized my gear wasn't all that great. So I went through, I have a Supreme Master Metalworker, so I went through, I crafted all that to go ahead and get the new armor set. Pretty much ended up using the entire crafted set except for the helm, which I'm using the helm from Volume 2, the first book of Volume 2, that takes you into Moria. So I'm using that helm. It's a pretty good helm, good stats, and has allowed me to carry through. So the other thing that I still really haven't figured out yet, and I need to kind of work on, is as I'm honing my rotation. I'm not used to playing a DPS class. So honing my rotation for not only for group content but also for solo content. Starting to think about maybe I need to go get a two-handed weapon. It's one of those where I've got a couple of legendaries sitting in my vault that are 65 that I'll be using, but now I need to start thinking about getting a two-hander, again, just for more single target DPS that I can use to kind of get me a better handle for single target versus multiple targets. The other thing that's nice about being here in Innuminus, there's a lot of things that have inductions, so it's a really good place to come and get used to doing interruptions. And certainly now, as I'm still in Innuminus at this content level, going forward, it's going to get even harder, because when you get into Moria, for the most part, pre-Moria, inductions don't really hurt you that much, other than healing people. So the green ones are the ones that'll heal. Red ones, outside of Moria, really aren't that painful or that bad. But once you get into Moria, you'll start to get cases where the red inductions, they'll start stunning you, and they'll start doing some pretty nasty things. So it gets to be a lot more important. So I'm trying to be more conscious of it as I play and as I go through to try and practice that and get used to doing that. Also recognizing that as a champion, one of the main roles of a champion is interrupts. So being able to get used to that and get a handle of that is something I'm trying to work on. So this is kind of the end of this. So there certainly are some story line events that are in here. So be warned, there are some spoilers here if you haven't been this far in the epic line. But fun storyline. I really enjoy it. It's also kind of just a fun little environment thing where you have to kind of go through, and it's just a little amusing portion of the story that I like. But you saw me there pop a hope token. One of the reasons why I did that was because, as you'll see here, I got some dread, and I was worried. I didn't remember how much dread it was, and I didn't want to get into a case where I would get stunned. Because what ends up happening here is Laerdon causes a distraction, and he yells for me to go ahead and grab the Palantir. So I am stealing the Palantir from a Marthiel and running away, and basically running for my life. I thought it was kind of cool, actually, the artwork on the Palantir. I thought that was kind of nifty. They have that, it looks kind of cool little satchel bag that I'm carrying running around here, so I thought that was kind of nice. But now I'm just running for my life, trying to go ahead and run away from everything else that's coming. And luckily, they don't respawn that quick, so I didn't get too much aggro on me. But thought that was, again, another fun instance. I'll probably actually run this instance over and do it for some farming of experience, also deeds, as well as reputation, to go ahead and do that, just because it is fun, it's enjoyable, it's a quick little instance, and go through and do that. Haven't done too much of my Warden. So for the most part, it's been all on my champion. I'm starting to do more things, starting to do more skirmishes, but I haven't done a whole lot on that, and we'll be getting into that. Also, probably get some more dedicated time here where I can do some stuff and do some more group content as I build up towards the new raid content. So that's it for now. I will talk to you guys next week.